For this first assignment, I decided to do a series of interviews and have people self evaluate themselves at different levels of knowing a second language. In this case, I used Spanish as the second language. My hypothesis was based on different people all living in the San Antonio area with varying backgrounds in Spanish. People will most likely see themselves at an average or below average rate despite having several similarities in region of living and being in a similar age group. This was based on my preconceived knowledge that many people decide to be less expectant and have lower standards so they don't disappoint people. I ended up asking them several questions, especially some about code switching, aka slang, and I also asked them to rate their Spanish on a scale from 1 to 100. This would ultimately disprove or help evaluate my hypothesis. Our first interviewee was introductory level Jazmin at 20 years old. She's an American native English speaker that does not speak Spanish frequently. She rated herself at a 1 out of 100 and used English slang. She learned Spanish from 1 to Spanish 3 in high school and learned English at 3 to 4 years old. She also quoted herself by saying, "The people you're around really influence how you speak." Our intermediate level, Natali, 18, is American bilingual, spoken Spanish most of her life, rated herself 52 out of 100, and uses slang very frequently in both languages. Her parents are bilingual and helped her study Spanish as well as her bilingual program in school. She learned both at an early age. Our next intermediate level is Rolando at 15 years old. He's American, speaks Spanish, spoken Spanish all of his life. He rated himself 70 out of 100, uses slang all the time, learned from his parents, and learned Spanish at the age of 2. He quoted himself, "I use Spanish when I'm at home with my family because that's the language they speak the most." Our next advanced level is Kimberly. She's 19 years old, American, and first language is Spanish. She's spoken Spanish all her life, rated herself 80 out of 100, and uses slang about 30% of the time in both languages. She learned from family and spoken Spanish since she could talk. Our next advanced level is Anabel at 20 years old. She's American, bilingual, yet learned Spanish first, spoken Spanish for 20 years, and rated herself 80 out of 100. She uses slang in Spanish and English frequently. She learned from her parents, learned English at 7 years old and Spanish at 1 year old. Our high advanced level is Favio, aged 14. He's American bilingual, spoken Spanish since childhood, rated himself 100 out of 100, slang used often in English. Parents and bilingual program in school taught him Spanish and learned both at a very young age. My conclusion is that despite having similar backgrounds such as similar age group, close regional living area, aka San Antonio, quite frequent a use of slang, and at least 2 years of learning Spanish, many of the interviewees rated themselves quite modestly, other than the outliers being the first and last interviewees. While the data might not be completely accurate because the interviewees rated themselves, the data can show the confidence level of those who participated in this mock study. In the end, we see that many people ended up actually rating themselves very moderately unless they felt that they weren't very fluent in the language or felt that they were extremely fluent. Even if it may not be true, it just shows that many people might see themselves very moderately despite their actual level.